Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Intrepidation Nation podcast, episode 7. What's up, everybody? How are you doing, Stan?
Doing fantastic. Awesomely fluffing fantastic.
Excellent, excellent. Good to hear, good to hear. What's been going on with you lately?
Not a whole lot, actually. Winding down, end of my school year, getting ready to plan out my future. Other than that, everything's great. Everything's fantastic.
Excellent, excellent. Good to hear, good to hear. All right, so, as of right now, it looks like it's just me and you tonight. So, you got anything you want to talk about?
Well, let's see. Yeah, I do. You know, Hideo Kojima, Konami, I think, is getting ready to pull out of video gaming altogether. And
Really?
yeah, it's kind of sad because I don't know if you grew up with Konami like I did, but they put out all the Castlevania games,
They've been around for a long time.
all the Metal Gear games. I mean, they just got some fantastic. The Silent Hills game is canceled now because the PT got pulled down because Hideo Kojima is he's no longer going to be a part of that project, which means Del Toro pulled out. So I think this is a move that Konami's making to, like I said, get out of video games. And we've seen other companies that have done major restructuring like this, like Capcom got rid of the creator of Mega Man. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the man's name because I don't want to disrespect him. Um, but you know what I'm saying, and you know what? I got to thinking about how bad Konami's productions have gotten outside of Metal Gear. For example, um, the Silent Hills and the last Castlevania not so great. Which leads me to believe that Konami to Konami needs Hideo Kojima more than Hideo Kojima needs Konami. Does that make sense? Like you're letting
Yeah.
go the one true asset you have, which tells me you're probably not going to be doing video games much longer. What's going on? Why? I
Right?
mean, I'm kind of excited to see him go on and do better projects. It's going to be the last Metal Gear, but I mean, or the last Metal Gear that I'd want to play that because he's not going to be a part of the series anymore. But I don't know. What do you think?
All I can think of is what are they thinking? I mean, the
Well,
guy's a
see,
legend, you know.
right. The guy is a legend, and that's. I mean, he's weird. Don't get me wrong, but he is a legend, and he right now this is a guy that can go to any studio and be like, "What's that? You want $200 million in a crew? Bam, you got it, dude." Like so. I don't. I'm not worried about what Hideo Kojima is going to do next because I know he's going to go off and be the bright shining star that he is. But what I want to know is like what's going to happen to all these Konami IPs that they got. They're video game IPs, and here's the thing: is in Japan, like places like Konami and Nintendo and Sony, they do other things outside of video games. Like they've got their hands in like everything. Like that they have, like Konami has a gym, or they have just a bunch of other stuff that they're doing also. So these slot machines and stuff that they got going over in Japan, Konami does those. So
Mm,
they're not just video games. That's another reason I think
so
Uh,
Nintendo does things other than video games in Japan?
yes, yes.
Really? What do they? What
The,
they do?
toys. They're a toy company.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting. Interesting. Never knew that. I always
yeah.
thought of Nintendo just video games. That's it.
So the name Konami is they're going to be fun. It's their they're cutting their video game division though. Or that's what it seems like.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
Which, yeah, that would be, yeah, it'd be kind of weird being without them because they have been around, for so long.
So I don't know. I've had a lot of fond memories with Konami. Of course, the Castlevania franchise alone, just on Nintendo, and then Super Castlevania on Super Nintendo. Oh, what about you? I mean,
I only
they
ever just played it on the Castlevania on the original Nintendo.
but Contra, that's a big.
Contra was an
Oh,
awesome game. We
yeah.
used to
I mean,
play a lot of that.
I'm truly scared. I want to know what happens to these IPs and who picks them up. I'm just curious, just wondering. So,
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, as you notice, I have kind of a Hulk theme going on today and everything.
oh
Um,
yeah,
yeah, on here, and well, obviously, don't want to talk really too much about Avengers because don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it yet. It is very good. Definitely go and see it and everything. But the Hulk being a big part of the Avengers, and just kind of want to talk a little bit about not just the character himself, but like things that Marvel may or may not have like in the works and everything like that. One one thing I've heard, I don't know if this is actually going to be the case, but the Hulk may end up in the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie, teaming up with them. Um,
to take
they're
on Thanos, right?
possibly, but Thanos, of course, is going to be in the upcoming Avengers Infinity War, but they're still leading into all that and everything too. Big time leading into that and everything with the upcoming movies, and of course the next I think, well, of course we got Ant-Man coming out, who I'm assuming is eventually going to get tied into the
Have you
Avengers.
seen the trailer for Ant-Man?
Yeah. He's getting attacked by a Thomas the Tank Engine there at the end.
I love
That's
that.
awesome.
Where because you got to think they're in their little bitty world, and you're like, you're thinking it. You're like, what if the train just went and it was like in reality, if the train hit them, you'd be like, boom. But they're so tiny, so we're
Mhm.
when you zoom out to the overall, it's just gonna be like, and sure enough, they show it like in the next scene
Right.
while you're thinking about it, like, tink, and the train falls over. I was
Right.
like, that's great, that's hilarious.
I know it was. Yeah, that was very funny. Absolutely.
I'm glad the Marvel Cinematic Universe is able to make fun of itself just a little bit and take liberties like that. I enjoy that.
Yeah, there's definitely humor, and that was exhibited even in the event in this Avengers movie too. Just like the last one, it had that element of
Right.
humor in there and everything,
Like
which
with
is
Tony Stark prodding. What's it take to turn you green? I want to see the green guy. I want to see the green guy.
right, right, exactly. But and of course we got the event, I'm getting ready to say Avengers Civil War, but Captain America Civil War, which although almost seems like it's going to be kind of an Avengers movie, but of course Captain America being the main character and everything, but Iron Man's going to be in it. We know now that Spider-Man's going to be in it. That's going to be his introduction to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right.
But aside from that, the other main direction that we got going on is the Infinity War, for the two-part Avengers movie in 2018 and 19, Avengers Infinity War, which I believe the Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be involved with that too, because we've already got them tied in the previous Guardians of the Galaxy movie. They've already got it tied in and everything. So,
Right, and
um,
they spoiler alert for Avengers: Age of Ultron. Even though I've not seen it, it's been leaked everywhere. The Vision. Well, I guess it's not really a spoiler because
they show them in the newest trailer.
yeah. So the Vision uh, is in Age of Ultron, right?
Yes. Yep.
and which
and
means
he's awesome.
the Vision would be in the part of the Infinity War,
Right, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but he definitely has something that
a
needs
main role.
and that connects to it and everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's why you introduced the Vision in this film. So
Hmm.
yeah.
And yeah, they definitely have, hinting going on to that, which they've been doing. Even really, well, we know the staff that Loki used in the first Avengers movie is leading into that and everything. But the Hulk, though, even though obviously the Hulk's going to be part of the Infinity War too, until then, though, like what are they really going to do? They it I saw an interview with Joss Whedon where they don't really think they could do a Planet Hulk movie, not because they couldn't do it, as far as effects and everything like that, but because the standalone Hulk movie, then they got to be dealing with Universal, because even though Hulk's able to be in the Avengers, and which is released by Paramount, even though it's Marvel Studios and Disney and everything, but it's got Paramount, on the intro and everything. Um, Although, you know what, I don't even remember if I saw the Paramount logo at the beginning of this one. To be honest, I totally forgot. But it was on the last one. But the last Hulk movie, last two Hulk movies, and previously on TV, Hulk was attached to Universal. Apparently, Universal still has some rights to Hulk, but they're able to still use them for the Avengers. But as far
I
as a
wish there was a
standalone
way to
Hulk
clear up
movie,
all this licensing issue,
yeah,
because that's
yeah,
why we
they
didn't get any of these superhero movies earlier, during the '90s and in the '80s and stuff, is because of licensing issues.
the reason is because I mean it's the same problem that made it take 16 years to get the Spider-Man movie made. They were like licensing it out to this character to this character to this studio. They spread it out instead of like trying to get one studio with owning all the, or not owning but licensing all the characters, because that would have been so much easier to deal with just doing it in one studio. DC had the luxury of being owned by Warner Brothers, so bam, right there, no brainer. Warner Brothers gets to do anything. At the times, though, you know, uh, Marvel wasn't owned by any movie studio. They did get briefly purchased by New World or something like that, whatever that no longer existent movie studio or whatever production company.
Right.
They're gone, and I think that kind of partially triggered a lot of the problems too. And then, but they just wanted to get the movies made, so they licensed to as many different people as would take the properties. But now it's causing problems because even though it's working out with Spider-Man and the Avengers and all of them are worked out because they weren't licensed out to all the other studios previously, but and now Sony's working with the Marvel Studios to allow Spider-Man. But then you got X-Men and Fantastic Four, which are both with 20th Century Fox, which is cool because they could always have a Fantastic Four and X-Men meet up, but they belong in the Infinity War too. X-Men and Fantastic Four are
Yeah.
both in the Infinity War too. So it would be nice if they could work something out with that too and everything. Um, but digressing off that, well, I mean, actually that all kind of comes together because that's the same thing with the Hulk. He's with Universal, but somehow he's still able to be in the Avengers somehow. I
Well,
guess.
that's like a
Yeah.
Bond, with the, what is it, the Eon whatever company it was. That was a big issue the year that we got two Bonds, when they released Never Say Never Again. Of course, John Connery stepping back into the role. That's a non-canon Bond film because it's not part of the main Bond universe,
Mm.
because it was a licensing era where Thunderball, Ian Fleming actually uh, licensed out Thunderball to a few different people. So it was a big problem, and that's why it took so long to get Casino Royale uh, on one of the name on proper on one of the movies, and finally, I guess all that was fixed prior to the first Daniel Craig entry, Casino Royale. So
Right. similar type situations. Um, like the first Hulk movie, 2003, probably doesn't even count or is non-existent in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Even though it was a good film despite tough
Ang Lee,
criticism.
I,
Yeah,
I think
Langley,
it's a great film.
I do as
Yeah,
well. But it got a lot of tough criticism. A lot of tough criticism against it.
I don't know why. It's beautifully shot. It's it is what it is. I mean,
I can tell you
it's
why.
it's
And Josh Whedon in his interview briefly even touched on it. The thing with the Hulk is that people are expecting to get a lot of action and stuff, which the Hulk delivers that.
that's not what
But
the Hulk's about. I mean,
you
dude,
got the
that's like
drama aspect where it's less action, and then everybody's like, "Well, I'm coming to see an action movie. I got to deal with all this drama that leads up to him becoming the
well,
Hulk and everything."
look, the people said the same thing about the Godzilla film. But you got to remember, all the old Godzilla films, like you hardly saw any Godzilla. The
Right.
whole Godzilla was a big mystery through those films. It's the same. Hulk is the exact same way. You can't.
You
I
got to
love the
build
Agni
up to
Hulk.
it. Yeah, you gotta build up to it. You gotta have the drama with Banner trying to contain it and everything, and it's like so that moment when it finally comes out, it's like you've been anticipating it, but you're like, oh, is it gonna happen now? Or just like on the TV show. On the TV show, you knew because the Hulk only appeared like maybe at most 5 minutes through the whole show.
I
You
mean,
always had that anticipation, like what's gonna trigger it? Like, okay, it didn't happen. Oh, crap, it's happening now.
right.
Yeah.
But like, one of the things with the Hulk, man, is like when you're starting your cinematic universe, you need the Bruce Banner Hulk relationship. You can go to like Perma Hulk later on if you want to, but I
But
mean, you
I
kind of need that.
prefer Perma Hulk. As much of a Hulk fan as I am, Bruce Banner to me is the bigger part of it. With Hulk is less interesting to me without Bruce Banner.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you completely.
It's cool. It's cool occasionally to have like a full thing like all Hulk. In the comic books, it was nice to sometimes have issues where it was like Hulk through the whole thing, lots of action. But not all the time. Not like
Now, see,
I
what I
hated
wish
it
they'd
whenever
done with
they
the Hulk
took Banner away
series,
for like a year or something like that.
right?
Something like that.
Well, what I wish they had done with the Hulk series is kind of like what I wish they would have done with the first Thor movie. I didn't think was very good. So what I was hoping is you got Ang Lee's Hulk and everybody, even though they panned it and be like, yeah. Well, in this second Hulk movie, do a Thor movie, call it Thor, and have Hulk versus Thor in the
I
Thor
want to
movie. It would
see
have been
that.
awesome.
I want to see that so bad. I want to see the biggest knockdown, drag out Hulk versus Thor fight on live action screen ever.
That would have been
That would
awesome.
be awesome. Exactly.
You would have like totally sold it right there. Like no, the, Thor had a bad movie. Hulk had a bad movie. What?
Or even
Who
call it
cares?
Hulk versus Thor.
There you go.
Like Batman versus Superman, Hulk versus Thor.
Right
There
there
you
you
go.
go.
That would sell right there. People would be like, ooh. And then try to like compete it against Batman versus Superman too. Like,
And then you could throw in so many Marvel characters trying to slow this thing down. You know what I mean? Like
that's
they're
another
trying
thing
to stop.
that, yeah. Oh yeah. Like, or trying to like protect everybody else from getting
From the fallout,
right from
yeah.
the fall of the fight. But that brings me to another reason, like about the different studios having right, like Fantastic Four and everything being separate and everything, because how are we ever going to see?
Hulk versus Wolverine. I know, man. I
Well,
know.
but I was that's important too. Hulk versus Wolverine. But another classic match that's equally as important, if maybe not even more important than Hulk versus Thor, Hulk versus Thing. That, like, there's always been a big rivalry, between
Yeah,
Hulk and Thing and
but
stuff, because
to me,
they're both
there's been
monsters.
no bigger. There's been no bigger rivalry to the Hulk than Wolverine because Wolverine can take just as much as the Hulk can.
Yeah, that's true too. But
But the thing
the
is,
the
and
Hulk
and
and Thing go back even further. Like they go back like
I
to the roots of the
know,
Marvel
but
universe.
you got to
And
think though. But
and
this is where
that's the one
Wolverine
thing that
came from. Is I I I, I hear what you're saying. Ben Grimm, though, let me tell you, like it's a no-brainer the Hulk would win.
Right. Yes, but that's part of the thing too for the thing for the character of the thing is like that's one humiliation that the thing's had to deal with is like as strong as he is and everything. Whenever he's compared against the Hulk and everything, that kind of looms over him and stuff like how the Hulk can take him and stuff. But he doesn't back down from the Hulk even still.
But I
You know.
mean, even Wolverine could take the Thing.
Right. Right. But I mean that doesn't count out the strength of the thing because the thing is, I mean he's
Well,
not
I know.
he's tough. I
Yeah.
mean he's strong. He's the Hulk. Just I mean there's no way the thing's gonna really beat the Hulk except for when the Hulk was the Gray Hulk. That was the
Yeah.
there was like one time where Hulk was the Gray Hulk and Thing had been mutated even further and he was actually even stronger and then he kicked the Hulk's ass at that point. But that was the
See,
only time it ever.
the reason Fantastic Four is not done well is because they're not telling the stories that are interesting, and like this is going to be our second Origins film, and this is an ultimate take, I guess, on the look. All right,
Mm,
tell a real Origins film. Have Doctor Doom be freaking from wherever the
Latveria.
yeah Latveria.
Yeah,
Oh,
they need to do Fantastic Four right, and I'm not sure that this movie is going to be. I mean, it kind of
I
looks cool in the trailer, but
I
not.
know.
I'm not. I don't have my expectations really high for
But
it.
see, the reason I want to see Fantastic Four done right is so that I can see the Thing forever, which is the Thing back in the I think it was the 70s. Yeah, the Thing could no longer transform back into Ben Grimm. He's stuck forever as the Thing,
Oh, that's actually
and
been most of the series. Here and there, occasionally he's been able to transform, but for the most part, he's been stuck as the thing.
yeah, and I remember reading the Thing forever, and that is some great story writing
Yeah.
and coming coming to conflict. I'm this monster, I'm stuck like this forever,
Mm.
that's one of the things in the movies is they in the previous movies he wasn't able to switch back and forth between Bing Grimm and the Thing, Bing Grimm and the Thing.
But, right, and that goes back to the roots of the Fantastic Four. Though he was pretty much always stuck. Periodically, every once in a while, he got like Reed Richards would find a cure, change him back. Sometimes he'd be stuck as Ben Grimm couldn't become the Thing. Sometimes he could switch back and forth. But for the most part, through the history of the Thing, he's been stuck as the Thing for the most part. I
Right.
think some exceptions, and that's another thing that the Hulk has on him because even though Hulk, is Hulk, he becomes human, but most of the time though, things got adjusted to where he actually likes being the Thing. Bruce Banner hates being the Hulk. Hulk likes being the Hulk though, but Bruce Banner doesn't. So there's the dynamic that some comparison where sometimes Ben Grimm doesn't like being the Thing. Hulk always likes being the Hulk, but then there's Bruce Banner hates being the Hulk, but Thing sometimes actually likes being the Thing. So there's a lot of times those comparisons, and that's why I'd like to see like something between the Hulk and the Thing too, just because that's another classic matchup. But yeah, definitely too Wolverine versus Hulk, ever because Wolverine first appeared in the Incredible Hulk.
Exactly.
That's where his
To
roots are.
me, to me, bigger than Thing versus Thing versus Hulk is like third on my list. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
like maybe not even breaking my top five because Hulk has versed everybody. You know what I mean?
It'd
Of course,
be
number one would be Hulk and Wolverine, and then Hulk and Thor would be number two. I mean, oh my God, there's
then you got to have the Hulk versus the entire Avengers. Then you have to
yeah.
have the Hulk versus the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and the X Men. Throw them in there too and everything. Yeah, because
Not everybody like that, but like the like what's Red Hulk versus oh man, God, there's just so many things you can do.
the uh, one thing too, and Josh Whedon mentioned this in his interview too, is like you see Hulk as hero Hulk a lot of times. He's like you know presented as a hero and everything, like in the last Avengers movie. But there's also like that scary dark side of the Hulk too. That when he's out of control, he's not a hero. The heroes have to stop him. They have to fight him and
Yeah,
everything. He
that's one of the
destroys the whole
things.
city.
That's one of the things of the Hulk is, you know, um, it's uncontrollable rage, and yeah, so uh, hmm, trying to control the uncontrollable at some point is going to get out of is going to get out of hand.
Right. They briefly touched on that in the first Avengers movie when like they showed uh, the Black Widow actually having fear of the
Right.
Hulk and everything, and when he was like after her and stuff in the one scene on the helicarrier and everything. And of course, this movie, not to do any spoilers, but if you've seen the trailers, you know that Hulk and Iron Man go at it.
Right.
There's some manipulation in there too, but still, you get to see a little bit of the scarier, like, what if Hulk was not part of the Avengers? What if he was an enemy of the
Well, see,
Avengers? How much of a threat,
that's
would
another
it
thing
be?
about the Hulk and why the because okay, rage. See, Bruce Banner is very intelligent, very intelligent character. Uh, but when he rages out and becomes the Hulk, because rage is one facet of the personality, it becomes a very single-minded thing. Rage and easily manipulatable, and that is a very deep
Mm,
character flaw with the Hulk that gets exploited time and time again, to where the Hulk's dumb.
mm.
He's kind of like just a big ape.
Or a childlike.
Yeah, childlike. Thank you. Because he's single mindedly in rage mode. So, yeah, totally.
Exactly. So yeah, often he's been often manipulated by villains and stuff, and into turning people, his friends and other heroes and the government and everybody against him and everything. And although sometimes he's done it himself, he just rages out and levels the city, and bam, they got to come after him and everything. Usually, there's been some instigation. Somebody instigated him, but just like in society, it doesn't matter how much somebody instigates you. You do something, violent or aggressive.
I
It
am
doesn't matter how
worried.
much you were instigated, you're going to still probably have to pay the price for it and everything.
I am worried about my comic book, uh, the comic book boom in movies. Sooner or later, it's going to like slow down, and when it slows down, it's going to slow way down. Another thing too is these guys that are in these big ass Avenger contracts, they're not going to be wanting to do Avengers forever.
Most of them have
So
like 6 movie deals, and once they get their 6 movies done,
I know, but then what do you do after that? First of all, how do you top the original? Second of all, who do you cast? Because you come on.
not again, not to spoil anything. No, I don't. I won't even say anything. I don't want to spoil anything. But there's some addressing of that, is all I'll say. But I don't want to spoil anything. So there'll be like
But
ways to carry
even
on.
on the X-Men side, I mean,
Uh,
you've got Ian McKellen who can barely stand up anymore playing Magneto. That's not gonna work out.
right.
Hugh Jackman, I mean,
But
I
they
hope
brought
that
in the
guy's got like
younger crew.
5 more. Yeah, I know, but Hugh Jackman's going to be too old to hang out with the younger crew. At
Right.
some point.
But he's one of those guys who really likes the role and is willing to go beyond just what they've contracted him and everything.
Yeah, I mean, he was only contracted to do 3 movies, and he's been in how many films? He's been in 7. Wow, it's crazy.
The Mark Ruffalo, or however you say his name, last name, I think that's the guy who's in the Hulk and the Avengers. He's contracted to do 6 movies. He's only been in 2 Avengers movies so far. That still leaves 4 movies for him to do. I don't know if they count the little cameo at the end of the credits of Iron Man 3. I don't know if that counts as one of his 6 movies.
I don't think so. I don't think it does.
Probably wouldn't. So he's still got 4. Robert Downey Jr.'s though been in 5 movies now. 3 of Iron Man movies, 2 Avengers movies, getting ready to do Captain America: Civil War, which will be a 6th movie right there.
And he's kind of been speaking negatively outside of his. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I want to return to that. You know, because he wants to do his artsy fartsy stuff too. You know, he's still wanting to do a third Sherlock Holmes and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I'm being serious. I
Right. No,
mean,
I know.
he's
It's just funny. It sounds funny. The thing is I wonder. I believe he's also supposed to be at least in one of the Infinity War movies too, because I mean, you got to have Iron Man in that. You know, you have to.
I see them doing they. Here's what I think they're going to do with the Infinity Wars, as far as that's concerned. They're gonna do like a Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter type deal where they film it all at one time, and then
Right.
break it off and release it as two
It's
films.
2 films, right? It's just going to be like a big movie filmed at once, but split into 2 exactly. Speaking of like that, the DVD and Blu-ray release of Age of Ultron, the final cut of the movie is 2.5 hours, but
Hmm.
the DVD and Blu-ray is going to have an alternate ending, and the movie itself
And
is
I
going to,
think it's 30 minutes extra
yeah,
content.
because
It's a
Josh
3 hour
Whedon
movie.
really made a 3-hour movie.
And Joss Whedon walking away from this is his last Avengers
Yeah, I
MCU
believe
movie.
so. Yep. Yep.
He's done with the MCU, so who takes it over from here?
Another interesting thing on that is, Agent Coulson, in the Marvel's Agents of Shield and everything, he was killed in the first Avengers movie, but brought back in the show
All right.
through alien technology and everything. Well, apparently, even though it's Josh Whedon involved in both the series and the movies, in the movies they don't. He's basically, and this isn't really technically a spoiler because they don't really talk about Coulson at all in this movie. But basically, he said in the interview, this same interview, that Coulson is dead as far as the Avengers movies go. So it's kind of a contradiction there. Even though like he decided that they wanted Coulson to be alive in the show, and the show is connected to the movies, but in the Avengers movies, he wants it like if people are just watching the movies, that's all they're worried about is the movies. So as far as the movies go, he's going to stay dead. He's not going to show up in the movies. They're not
See,
going to acknowledge
Star Wars
though.
is going to do the same thing and not acknowledge like Rogue One or some of the other stuff going on. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Probably, but basically, so even though the show is going to continue on, still probably be tied into the movies. The movies are no longer going to acknowledge that, so that way anybody who doesn't watch the show but watches the movies isn't missing anything. But if you are, it's not going to contradict it necessarily because when I saw that, I'm like, are they going to actually say that he's dead or anything like that? They just kind of pretended, like it was nothing like that. I mean, it's not even addressed so in the movie, so he can still be alive in the show. But as far as anybody who's just only seen the movies, as far as they would know, he's still dead and everything.
Gotcha. So, yeah.
And then of
Dude.
course, even though we've all seen it, I got to see the Batman versus Superman trailer at the theater for the first time. So getting to see it on the big screen, it's even it would have been cool to see it for the first time there, but it's like it's kind of like it was kind of wow again getting to see it there and everything's definitely excited about that. Um,
More Batman than the Superman thing, still, though,
yeah,
right?
well, in the trailer anyway. I'm excited about Superman and Batman being together in a movie and everything. Definitely excited about that. But as far as the trailer, Batman's definitely like the awesome factor of the trailer and everything. It's like because at first, if you were somebody who had no idea about none of this, you just watch the movies when they come out. You don't go online. You don't see any of this stuff before it's coming and
Right.
everything. Like you see that trailer for the first time, you're gonna think it's just at first you're gonna think it's a Superman movie, until you see Batman. It's like, holy crap, Batman! Wait, I just saw. It's Dead Samuel. Oh, head explode.
Right.
So yeah, if it was me, not knowing anything, I'd be seeing like, I'd be like, oh, cool, another Superman movie. if you like the previous Superman movie, which I didn't hate it. It's not
It's
a
not.
great Superman movie, but I didn't hate it. Um,
I have so many problems with Man of Steel. For example, Papa Kent. I have a big problem. Kevin Costner's a fantastic actor, but the contradicting, like, he tells, spoiler alert, if you've not seen Man of Steel, go watch it now. What have you been doing? Um, like, when he saves the people on the bus, and, what should I have done? Let them die? Maybe. Maybe that's what you should have done. I don't know. And then, like, the tornado thing, when it's coming for him, and there's that Superman can do something but he's so prideful, and he's just like, no, Clark. And he martyrs himself. He allows himself to be killed for no damn reason. I thought that was so dumb. Sorry, I did not like the Man of Steel movie at all. There was just so many problems I had wrong with this movie.
I look at it like, as I've said before, I look at it as not our Superman that we really know, not the real Superman that over the years, as far as the characterization of Superman over the years that we've all gotten to know and everything. It's an alternate Superman, a different take. Some of the correct characteristics are there and everything like that. I just definitely disagree with him killing Zod at the end. Not necessarily saying the good guys should never. There's never any situation where they might have to kill a bad guy. Not saying
Well,
that,
I
but
mean,
I
Zod
think
got killed in
Superman is
the.
always able to find another solution. He's always been able to.
Christopher Reeves ended up killing Zod too, so
Not exactly. We don't really know what happened to them. They
they
fell into
fell
the
in that
snow.
pit,
We don't
man.
know what that was. Could have been a prison down there. Who knows? It
Yeah,
might have fallen back into the Phantom Zone. We really don't know. Nobody ever found the bodies.
speaking of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, thank you for putting me in that backdrop today. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. I remember you saying, like, for you that Hugh Jackman is Wolverine for you. So.
Yeah, it's like if it's kind of like. Well, we say that about Bonds too. Like, everybody was like, after John Connery, who's going to do Bond? Really, nobody can do it. Then Roger Moore comes in, and he does a fantastic job. And then Timothy Dalton, not so much. But Pierre Brosnan, Daniel Craig. I mean, we've had some good Bonds. You know what I mean? So, but
That's what the kind of same thing that might happen with Indiana. Well, it looks like it's going to happen with Indiana.
it's going to happen with Indiana
We
Jones.
couldn't imagine anybody but Harrison Ford doing it. But who knows? We might love it when, because I know I love Indiana Jones, and if it gets more Indiana Jones movies, then yeah.
You know who
let's
I'd
have
like
other
to see
people
play
them.
Indiana Jones?
Who?
Bradley Cooper.
Isn't he? The guy who's supposed to be maybe playing him, the one from Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Lord, or am I totally thinking of some? No. Or let me find a picture of Bradley Cooper.
No, Bradley Cooper's not.
I'm like stupid.
You seen The Hangover, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, Brad. Oh, derp. Yeah, okay. He could make it a good Indiana Jones.
This
Yeah.
guy is coming out of nowhere as like
What's
very
the
strong.
guy's name? Though I'm thinking of who is actually I think lined up to possibly play Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Can't think of his name.
The guy that played Star Lord, right?
Yeah.
Or
Dang it, he's gonna be in Jurassic World and everything too.
yeah, Chris Pratt. Is
Chris
that
Pratt.
right?
That's it. Chris
Yeah.
Pratt.
There you go.
Yep, Chris Pratt. Yep, that's his name. That's his name.
That guy, though. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's probably going
But
to be
Bradley
something
Cooper,
like
yeah,
this.
he has that look. He's got that look. I can see it in Chris Pratt too, but I think really, like you said, yeah,
Bradley Cooper,
even more.
especially since he just did the what's that Clint Eastwood movie that came out? It's really popular, the American Sniper movie. You know,
Yeah. Oh,
you
that was
seeing
good.
the
That was a
range of
good
his
movie.
characters and stuff. dude, Bradley Cooper, let him do it. He can be a comedy actor. He can be a freaking
Yeah,
serious hardcore actor. He can be an action actor. This
yeah,
guy's got range to do whatever,
right.
and that's good because Indiana Jones is a little bit of comedy, a little bit of action, a little bit of yeah. You want someone with a lot of range because that's why Harrison Ford was so great in the role is because he had that range. So
Oh, here's a picture of Chris Pratt. Looks kind of like Nathan Drake here. Um, which he'd probably be good at that too. I'm not opposed to Chris Pratt doing Indiana Jones though. I mean, he does have that kind of look to him too. Uh, Bradley Cooper more so, but I don't know.
right,
I think it could work. I
could
think
go
it
either
could work.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, actually, this picture is. It looks kind of like Drake, but it's supposed to be, I guess, kind of him is Indiana Jones, but he looks more like Nathan Drake. It doesn't look. He's wearing a Nathan Drake kind of outfit, not Indiana Jones.
They're not already filming Indiana Jones, are they?
Not that I know.
I
No,
don't think so.
I don't
No, it's
think
not
so.
even pre-production plans yet. We got to get Star Wars out the door first. That's what Disney's worried about right now.
Right,
Oh,
right. Got to get Star Wars done, and it's awesome that Harrison Ford's actually coming back to be Han Solo on that. Because that was
oh
something I
man,
never
that's
expected. I
great.
never expected to see Harrison Ford as Han Solo ever again.
That trailer is tugs on every vibe ever.
In fact, I don't think we ever expected any of the original cast members to ever do another Star Wars movie.
The original cast didn't expect to ever come back.
Mm, exactly. Which I mean, it's just. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, it's like, it's. I mean, because you think of the how legendary the old original trilogy has become with them in it, and
I
yet they're still
still,
around, and now they're going to do a new one.
I still get the vibe that Mark Hamill is probably going to
Die.
no
Oh,
be the only original cast member that doesn't die.
oh, that doesn't die. Oh, I was kind of thinking of like because in Episode 1 Qui Gon dies, Episode 4 Obi Wan dies. I was thinking in this one Luke dies and becomes the Jedi ghost in the
Well,
next
maybe he
one.
dies, but maybe it takes three movies to get there. I'm just saying. I don't. I think I see. You don't want to kill off all the original cast, and
No.
Mark Hamill's probably the only one. I mean, you got to look at well, Carrie Fisher. I mean, she's she's had a hard life. All right, it's very open. She's wrote books about it. She's battled addiction all her life.
Right.
Um, and I don't think she's in the the position to do three films. You know, it's going to take a toll on her. Maybe she does, but the role's so small, so maybe she hangs around. Harrison Ford, I mean, he doesn't even like the role. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and so I don't see him doing more than one film. He obviously did this film probably to leverage himself to do something else, probably having something to do with the next Indiana Jones film or whatever. But he did this film to leverage himself. That's how I see Harrison Ford, and I don't blame him. But
Very possible. I mean, because uh, the Star Wars movies got him Indiana Jones in the first place,
right,
or helped to get him because they did look at other actors and everything. But yeah, it definitely helped.
well, you got to remember, Star Wars was not Harrison Ford's first film with George Lucas either. Actually, he was in American Graffiti also. So
Right, right. That was the first time he worked with. And when he got Han Solo, he was working as a carpenter on the set,
yep, yep,
and he just read some of the lines because they needed somebody to read some of the lines. But they said, "Oh, did it better than anybody else." They tried out for him, so they had him do it. And
right.
then the rest is history.
So,
So,
yeah, I don't see Harrison Ford sticking it out for three. Plus, he's so old. You
right.
know, he's a lot older. That obviously he's a lot older than um, Mark Hamill by what 15, 10, 15 years.
Well, I mean, he called Luke a kid all the time for a reason. So yeah, like Luke, I think was like 19. I don't know the actual age of the actors at the time, but approximately the same ages probably. But Luke was like 19 in episode 4, and Han was more like 33. So yeah, 14, 15 years and stuff. Yeah, definitely. And it's probably about what they were their real
In
age
real
in real
life
life.
relation.
So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. It's funny how interesting thing about Mark Hamill, and some people may know this, some people may not. But in between Star Wars, the original Star Wars, and The Empire Strikes Back, Mark Hamill was in a really bad automobile accident and had to have surgery done on his face, and you can really tell they covered it up by, and that's the part of the reason why Luke ended up, in the Wampa Cave, was to explain the scars on his face, because
Right.
Luke looks a lot different in Empire than he does in the first Star Wars, and it's because of the surgery that he had to have in real life, the plastic surgery to repair, the damage to his face, which did really alter his appearance a lot. In between those two movies and everything, but Harrison Ford even really kind of really changed. I mean, he kind of in some ways looked the same, in other ways, he started looking a little different in Empire than the first one, and then in Return of the Jedi, he kind of really looked more like the more mature Harrison Ford that we've gotten used to in the
Uh,
Indiana Jones
yeah.
movies and the others, because like in American Graffiti in the first Star Wars, he's a lot younger and he looks a lot different than as we've
Well,
gotten to know him.
there was a lot more time that had passed too between Empire and Return of the Jedi than there was between the original Star Wars and Empire.
Well, they were actually all 3 years apart. Like Star Wars was 1977, Empire 1980, and Return of the Jedi 1983. Just like with the
1983.
prequels, they were all 3 years apart from each other.
Wow. Yeah. The whole cast aged a whole lot then by the time Return of the Jedi came around.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
Wow. Didn't even think about them being all 3 years apart. Wow.
and if the original plan was, and of course Lucas denies this. He says, "No, it was always supposed to be 6." But I know I've read somewhere where they said it was going to be 9, and even Mark Hamill said that George Lucas even told him that it was going to be 9.
Right.
So it was supposed to be
Uh,
four.
I saw a interview where Mark Hamill was at Star Wars Celebration this past year, and
Mhm.
he was talking about George Lucas asking him on the set, "Hey, would you return for a cameo in Star Wars?" And he's like, "When?" He's like, "I don't know, 30 years from now." And Mark Hamill looks at him like,
Oh, I remember
"What?"
hearing
He's
about
like, "Yeah,
that.
about 2011, somewhere in there." He's like, "Well, I'm young. It's my first acting gig ever. Of course, I'm going to say yes." Like, actress say yes. You never turn down a job if you're an actress.
Right, right. But the way it was like mapped out, like if they did the 9 movies like they were supposed to every 3 years, then we would have had episode 7 in 1986, episode 8 in 89, 9 in 92, and then we would have had episode 1, because what it was going to be was 4, 5, and 6, and then after or 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, and 9, and then after 9 do the first 3. So we would have had episode 1 like 4 years earlier in 1995, and then 98, and then episode 3 would have been 2001 and everything, or episode 3, 2001. But what happened though is when they were doing Return of the Jedi, as they were planning on it before they actually started filming, but as they were doing pre-production, script writing, and all that stuff. Stuff was going on in George Lucas' personal life. He was having a
Yeah, he
divorce and
retired for
stuff.
15 years.
Right.
He
Well, he was
adopted,
having a divorce, and it really
and he had just
affected him.
adopted a kid too. Yeah.
Right. Right. So what he did was he rewrote Return of the Jedi to wrap it up to where it would end with Return of the Jedi and just be done at that point. With the idea in the back of his head, maybe years later down the road he might go back and do the first 3, but it would end at least on the 6th one. So that's why, because originally Leia wasn't Luke's sister. She was supposed to become the queen of some planet. It just wasn't going to end originally with Return of the Jedi, which is maybe why in some ways Return of the Jedi seems a little more rushed or faster. You know,
I love Return of the Jedi.
goes through
That's what I
faster than
was.
some of the
That's
other
what I'm
ones.
saying is I like these films for what they were in their original state. I don't like the fact that they were altered ever. Um,
Yeah, most filmmakers, and George Lucas has even said that most directors, filmmakers, they know that they can't do everything they were really wanting to do. They eventually, stop and abandon it, and it's like, okay, it's done as it is. Yeah, I didn't get to do this and this, but this is the movie. This is what it is. But he's the one. He was like, oh no, I can go back and I can change it, and fix it and make it be what I originally envisioned it to be. Which, in
and
maybe in
now
some
everybody's like,
cases,
I
yes,
wish you
but
hadn't have. Yeah, yeah.
you know,
That's the argument that I'm going.
when's enough is enough though. When do you stop? Like, if you have that, because I understand that idea of perfectionism. Like, it's just not perfect the way it is. I want to do this or this, so I'm going to change it and everything like that. I can understand that definitely, but at some point you got to stop. You can't keep doing it over and over and over again. And so you got the special editions in '97, then the DVDs that finally came out in 2004 that changed it a little bit more, fixed some things, made some things worse. um, and then of course the Blu-rays even changed a little bit more too. Not like big, but some subtle changes and everything.
Right.
So, and it's like, yeah, I love my Blu-rays of the original trilogies, and I've seen it in HD. It's awesome, really. But I'd like to see in HD the original unaltered versions, Which, who knows if we'll ever get that? Maybe one day, hopefully, but who knows?
Probably not because I think Lucas said as far as what they used the original print, he actually altered the original print of the film instead of making a copy of the film and then altering that. He actually altered the original print of the film.
Who does
So
that?
I know, right? Like,
It's like, they had copies of it because they did on the individual DVD releases of the original trilogy. They had a 2 disc, or had an extra disc where it did have the unaltered original version, but they didn't clean it up. It wasn't even in 16:9 aspect. It was 4:3 with letterboxing and everything. Um,
oh, this is what he claims. Now, where those films actually are, will never know. So.
But basically, the DVD copies of the original versions weren't of the same quality of what they put on, on of the special edition versions and stuff, because they remastered all that stuff. But the DVDs with the original versions are not remastered. They're like basically taken off of old film reels, I guess, that are all that's left of the original versions or whatever. So they're not cleaned up and pristine. Now, which if they have them in any form to even put in DVD in the first place like that, then it seems like they could remaster those, whatever copies they used to do that, and
I don't know.
And make it look nicer. But who knows? Who knows? One day maybe we will see the original unaltered trilogy in HD. But when, we'll never know. Or if. So I guess that's it. You got anything else?
Oh no, man, I'm good.
Yep, I'm good too. Well, yeah. So that's it, everybody. Appreciate you guys being here, checking us out. Don't forget to go to www.intrepidgurus.com. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast. And register on the site. And we'll see you guys next week on the next one. And see you on Twitch. We'll catch y'all later. Have a good one.